And welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the only podcast on the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Let me just adjust this futon. When I sat down, after pressing record on the cameras, it moved. So, there you go. That's how fat I am. If you're listening to this right now, if you're listening to the Constitutionals podcast, you might be hearing a faint buzz in the background. That is indeed my noise machine. I got home early from work because I went to work early again. And as soon as I was setting up for the Constitutionals podcast, I got not to be home alone again. So anyway, here we go. If you're watching this right now, the week that it comes out, as we speak, as this episode is airing, I am in Vancouver, Canada. Isn't that great? That's how they sound in Canada. I am up there for vacation. My third ever vacation, I think. Yeah, because no. Would the dating show count? So I would say fourth ever vacation, I guess. So my fourth ever vacation. You know, I go on trips, here and there, little trips and everything. You know, I'll go visit some friends in Nashville or Chattanooga or Alabama, something like that. But now, you know, that's not a vacation. That's just visiting people. But this is a trip. You know, going to California last year was a trip. Chicago, twice, trip. So 4 times. Now 4 times I've been on a plane 4 times. Actually, yeah, I would say 4 to 5. Not many people fly on planes, and so you know it's a whole thing for me if I have to get on a plane. And I like the experience. I really do wish I had TSA pre-check, and I wish I had like medallion status, silver or gold medallion status for Delta, whatever it's called, but I don't. I remember I was like, I think last year around this time, I was watching videos for reviews on the different statuses and stuff for Delta and all the different lounges that, you know, Arab Emirates and Delta have. And then, you know, periodically throughout the year, I was watching videos for all those big Airbuses that you have beds on and stuff, or your chair turns into a bed and all that stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, let's get on with the topic. There's not really more topic. I mean, I could just go on about anything. I could do that. This is what the podcast is. I could go on about anything. And I am writing that down. I was driving home from work, 4 p.m. Since I'm going on this trip, I have no food here at my apartment. So I'm driving. I went to Panera Bread, which is fast casual. It's not fast food. Went to Panera Bread, picked up a sandwich and a salad, and chips and bread. It's 2 different things. I got 2 different meals because I'm very hungry. I'm a growing boy, but. I just wish I would grow taller, you know? I'm 5'8". I thought I was 5'10". My entire life, I thought I was 5'10". I had a doctor tell me I was 5'10". They lied to me. I went to the doctor last week and said I'm 5'8". I'm so pissed. Or 2 weeks ago, and said I'm 5'8". I'm still mad about it. Anyway. So I'm driving home from work, and I live near Piedmont Park in Atlanta, Georgia. Piedmont Park happens to be the ending of a very popular thing. It's called the Peachtree Road Race. Every year, 4th of July, there's a race from Lenox Mall in Buckhead to Piedmont Park, which is here in Old Fourth Ward, at the edge of Old Fourth Ward, and in Midtown, essentially. And so people run. God, get a little choked up here. The Peachtree Road Race. People run from the mall to the park. And it's a whole thing. It's a very big event. It's probably, I would venture to say it's probably the biggest event in Atlanta. Wouldn't you? Person who's sitting next to me on the thing. This morning I was brushing my teeth before I went to the gym. It was like 4:45 in the morning. I'm very tired. I'm brushing my teeth. I have my contacts in. I just put my contacts in. I brush my teeth. And my bathroom door slowly opens by itself. And the first thought in my head is, oh, it's a murderer. It's like, no, first thought in my head was, oh, one of my roommates is coming to kill me because I don't know these guys. I found them on the internet. Very true. Second thing is, oh, no, it's just a ghost who's trying to kill me. And the third thing was, I think I'm ready to die. Which is very sad. Like, you can just kill me if you want to. At least my breath will smell good. But yeah, Peachtree Road Race is probably the biggest event in Atlanta. The biggest annual event, I would say. other than one of the festivals. But I mean, that it's big enough. It's big enough. It's televised. It's known around the world, around the nation at least, around the world too. I even wrote about it in one of my scripts, one of my mini scripts. I wrote about it 4 different times. Okay. 4 different episodes of the script of the show. It's not just, I write about 4 different times on script. Idiot. So they have that set up, and so I'm on my way back from work. So I work in Buckhead, and so I'm driving back from work, and I go, you know what? I'll just cut through. I cut through Midtown. It'll be faster. No, I have to go through Midtown because Panera is, I can't. You don't know this. I can't pass by one part of the place, so I have to go a different way. Essentially, I have to go a different way. I have to go through Midtown, and I get to the park, and everything's set up. And someone cuts me off because there's cones in the street because they have it all set up, and I don't see them. I honk, and then I go, oh, God, Peachtree Road Race is here. And so I'm sitting in, I would say, about 10 minutes of traffic, 10 extra minutes of traffic for the Peachtree Road Race, all the stuff that's set up. They have everything. They have tents set up. They have gates set up. I was wondering, I saw gates in Midtown, and I thought, what is going on? Why is this? We get closer to the park, more gates, tents, gates. It's crazy. So I'll be there. I worked at I didn't work. I worked when I was with the news channel. I was I went to the Peachtree Road Race. I helped set up for the news. Set up our tent. I drove a van down there, and that was a really cool experience. It was like I had to be at the station at I think 3 o'clock in the morning or 3:30, something like that. I think it was 3 o'clock in the morning because we were done set up by 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and we just sat around for a little bit. And I hit on somebody who worked at Fox 5. She had just started the job, and I was like, I'm going to get my hands in that. That sounds so disgusting. That's how people get Me Too'd. Oh, my gosh. Actually, that might be the title. Anyway, that was great. I won't mention who that person was because I feel bad about saying it. Then I tried to hit her up. This is how disgusting and depraved men can be. I tried to hit her up on Facebook after the fact. Didn't work out, but I'm with someone else. It's going great, but still, such a funny thing. Anyway, let's get on to the topic. This week's topic is the best daily news podcasts. This is one of the many topics I have just labeled under future topics. I will tell you, I will not lie. There's 2 more under there. There used to be 1, but now there was 3, and now there's 2. So I have to get more of those. But as for news time, there's 4. I have enough. No, I don't. But I have a lot. There's maybe 15. Yeah, 15 to 20. Best daily news podcast. So with the advent of the 2016 election, daily and the rise of podcasting, there have been, like I said, rise of podcasting. There have been an influx of not just the regular podcasts that people listen to, like murder podcasts, which is, guys, come on, you're killing it. I think it's mostly women that listen to it, but guys, people in general. This is a very bad episode of this show. But there was a rise and influx in these daily news podcasts. The Daily for New York Times, that used to be called The Run-Up, and that was a bi-weekly podcast, I believe. I think it was twice a week. That during the 2016 election period, for maybe 6 months, Michael Barbaro would host this show and talk to people about what's going on with the 2016 election, because it was freaking crazy. I was going to curse, but this is a clean show. Even though I did talk about Me Tooing and all that stuff. And all the dirty stuff I did. So the Daily was born. I remember seeing that in my feed. The Run-Up was ending, and I remember not listening to the last couple of episodes because it was very it was after the election, and then they had a couple of episodes, and I was just so sad. I couldn't listen to it. I was done with news for a little bit. I think that went on for a couple of months. I was done with news. I swear to God, we'll get to the topic in a second. So then the Daily was born. And then NPR, to go along with Morning Edition, I think. I don't know. This is my speculation. To go along with Morning Edition and which is the morning news essentially. It just changed its theme song a couple of weeks ago, so that was newsworthy for, let's see, the New York Times, for Conan, for a bunch of places. So to go along with that, they have Steve Inscape and I want to say Audie Cornish. She does host it a little bit, but they have a bunch of people hosting Up First. It's usually two people hosting Up First, and Up First is just 10 minutes of the news you need to know when you wake up in the morning. They upload at 6 a.m. The Daily uploads around 6 a.m. Up First uploads around 6 a.m. I know this because I'm awake. I'm awake by the time those things upload. And Up First is where the Daily takes one long look at a story. I'm getting a little choked up again. I'm sorry. While the Daily takes one long look at a story, they take one story and then just dissect it. And it's usually Michael Barbaro with one other person, and they tell this long form story. And it's really well done. I urge you to listen to it. I urge you to listen to all of these. None of these shows are bad. Up First it takes all the headlines and takes a look at them. So, last night's episode, this morning's episode, Trump was in North Korea. He stepped into the demilitarized zone he was in South Korea. He stepped into the demilitarized zone to North Korea, first sitting president to do that. Let's see what else. And then they'll talk about, I guess, the Super Bowl, who won that. Yeah, so but it's mostly like a news oriented thing. It's not like they don't take a look at pop culture unless it's huge pop culture. So that's Up First. And then there's Post Reports. Now, Post Reports is from Washington Post. That just started maybe a couple of months ago. And oh God, I forgot the woman's name. I feel so bad. Post Reports podcast host. Thank you, Google. Martine Powers. Martine Powers, she's great she's just like Michael Barbaro. She's very analytical. She asks the questions and everything. Post Reports, again, just like the Daily, takes a look at one story, but it's not just one story. Actually, it's more like three stories. 5 to 7 minute stories, sometimes, longer. And I should say this. Up First is 10 to 11 minutes, 10 to 12. The Daily ranges from like 21 to 30 minutes. And then Post Reports is the same length, 21, mostly 20. Martine and her crew, her producers, they kind of keep it shorter on the shorter side, whereas the Daily can run over in half an hour. So Post Reports is a very, very good show. I like that one because they'll take three stories and look at them and do these in-depth dives and try to just pack as much information in that 5 to 7 minutes as they can, and then put it all into a 21-minute episode. And it's the Daily feels so. Well, let me move on. Let me move on to Wall Street Journal What's News, and then I'll take a break really quick. Wall Street Journal What's News. That's a fairly new show. I think I don't know because I just discovered it. From Wall Street Journal, of course, WSJ What's News. I love the title, What's News. That's a great title. All these titles are good, but What's News is so good. It's a show that's hosted by, and I did not catch the host names, WSJ What's News podcast host. I'll tell you something about this show. I just played it. I played it before 14 minutes ago. So however long this episode of this podcast is, I played it before this. Let's see. Yeah. So that started in April. Anthony Galloway, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. This is an article from TalkingBizNews.com written by Chris Roosh. Wall Street Journal has relaunched its What's News podcast. Okay, so it just relaunched. Who is the host? Okay, Kim Gittleson. So Kim Gittleson's the host. And you know what? While I'm at it, I'll do Up First hosts. I know it's Steve Inscape and Rachel Martin and David Green. Okay, there we go. 3 white people. They're all good, though. They're the good kind of white people. So, again, that's What's News is like up first. It takes a look at a bunch of stories, but it's in 11 minutes. But difference between What's News and Up First is that What's News is uploaded twice a day. So you get the AM episode, you get the PM episode. So really you're getting two 11-minute, you're getting 22-minute episodes. I don't know what's going on with my hands anymore. Watch the video. I urge you to. You'll see so much. You'll see me actually shooting this show during the day and what I wore to work and all this stuff. So we're going to take a quick break, and then I'll hop into what makes each one of these shows special. Welcome back to the Constitutionalist Podcast. All right, let's get back to it. It's been a long time trying to figure out how to tap back onto my phone. You know, the 20 seconds before this, I spent a long time trying to figure out how to open up my phone and tap back into the thing. I love my Pixel 2 XL, but the screen is cracked. I need to get it fixed. Also costs, you know what, you can pay money for phone insurance, but they still make you pay a deductible, which sucks. You know, I've had this phone for 2 years now, and I put in $5 a month for the phone insurance straight to Google, because I got this phone straight from Google, and I still got to pay $100 to get the screen cracked, because that insurance plan doesn't cover the screen getting cracked, which is you know what? And they have these curved screens on these phones now, so you have to get a special glass screen protector. But you know, those are so cheap. You know, or you can get an expensive one that costs $40. It's stupid. Can't wait till the Pixel 4 comes out and has 19 cameras on it. Okay, let's get back to it. So, what makes these shows specials? So the daily is probably the most analytical. Yeah, I would say it's the most analytical out of all of these shows, out of all 4 shows. And let me stop this sentence real quick. I chose all 4 of these shows because they are the ones that I know of. I'm sure there are. Let me go to my news tab. I have a bookmark folder full of news. Radio Atlantic. Oh shoot, but that's not daily though. See that these are daily. Atlantic has Radio Atlantic. I don't know if the New Yorker has one, New York Magazine. Let me read you my yuppie bookmarks. Vox has a bunch of podcasts, but I just have not listened. And then those are all the news organizations I follow that aren't movie related. You know, I read the trades, IndieWire, Deadline, The Wrap, Hollywood Reporter, Variety, /Film. You know, I read the trades. I'm such a jerk. I don't know why people like me. Sometimes I hang out with people, or I'll see, like this weekend I went to see some friends and their band play. I was late, so I missed them, and I still paid money for tickets. So you bet your butt I sat there and hung out with them for the next 2 hours. Or how long was I there for? Yeah, it was 2 hours. But sometimes, like, I have a conversation, and then I hear myself talking, and I go, God, I am a piece of work. I should not have any friends at all. But here I am. Google News just sent me something. Angels pitcher Tyler Skaggs dies at 27. Oof. Their game has been canceled against the Rangers. Good Lord, 27. I gotta found out how that happened. Speaking of sports, KD going to Brooklyn Nets. When the writing was on the wall for the Knicks, and this man he's like, I'm taking the max elsewhere. The Knicks can't win. They lost all the trades, all the free agents. Crazy. Anyway, let's just put this episode of the time capsule. Talk about Trump visiting the Koreas and then the sports stuff. So the Daily is, I would say, the most analytical out of all the shows. Post Reports is probably up next, and then Up First and What's News, they tie for that. But whereas everything else lacks in analysis. They make up for in. I don't want to say this in the slightest sense of the word. Entertainment value. Up First, Steve Inscape is such a funny guy, especially when he's not doing, death stories or serious war stories. But Steve, he'll start that, for the past couple of weeks, he's just been inserting a lot of his crazy, weird personality inside of the show, and it's so funny, especially when they open up the episode. He'll just he didn't do this, but he'll like cough on mic and go, oh, boy, this is really tough. But he never did that. And stuff like that. He's a funny guy. And Post Reports, God, I forgot her name. Martine Powers. When Martine Powers is doing a story, or when she's covering a story that is not, again, about death or war or something like that, then she really plays around with it. Michael Barbaro and his team, they don't have the room for that. They can't do all that stuff. They can't be funny and weird because it's just not possible for them to do that. Truly, it's not. It seriously is not. Because they're doing, people really believe in that. I think that's and I would say The Daily is the most listened to because I hear famous people talk about it constantly. It's insane. It's great though. I like it a lot. I will admit though, there are days, sometimes weeks, where I've been reading so much news and I've been listening to so much news that I just have to put off these shows and I just delete them when they come into my podcast app. I'm just like, get out of here. No more of this. I want to listen to comedy, or I want to listen to, I've been trying to get in the history podcast, but I have not listened to an episode. That's very funny to me. Up first is, I would say the most digestible, again, because it's 11 minutes. And, when you wake up in the morning, I like to, if I get home from the gym and I'm making my breakfast and my lunch, then I turn on Up First. And it's 11 minutes and I play it at, 1.5 speed, and I knock out the episode in 6 minutes, however long 1.5 speed, 11 minutes into 1.5 speed is. I can never get that down. I don't know the time. I don't know. And don't tell me. But they all have their pluses. And if anything is a minus, it's that this is news and it can get very dark and difficult very quickly, especially The Daily, especially Post Reports. But since What's News and Up First are 11 minutes long, they can get through a story in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and that'll be done. But one of the things that they all have in common, besides the thread of the same story, is that they all bring in the reporter who wrote the story for the paper or the online periodical, which NPR is. Everything else is paper. That's really interesting. Yeah, NPR is the only all online one. Yeah, that's really interesting. I just noticed that. Everything else is New York Times, Washington Post, Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal. I would love to subscribe to Wall Street Journal. It's $28 per month. It's $30 per month for digital only, which is crazy. There is a way you can get I think it's $15 a month, but you have to do it annually. So that means you have to have your plan, every month pay $15. But Daddy don't got that kind of cash. He's trying to get his own apartment. Okay. They all bring in this, the people that reported the story. So if, I don't know anybody, if John Caramonica, the music critic for New York Times, if he did a story about the Scooter Braun thing, where it's Scooter Braun's company bought Big Machine Records back catalog, which includes all 6 of Taylor Swift's last albums, and she's pissed and she hates it. Because Scooter Braun apparently bullied her and is a piece of trash. And then now Justin Bieber's sticking up for Scooter Braun because that's his manager or something like that. I don't know, or he's on his management team. I don't know. But if John Caramonica wrote about that, then the Daily made an episode about that, then they would do it. But they would never do that because that is they have a music podcast called Popcast, which is wonderful. Check it out. Popcast, New York Times Popcast. Great music-based podcast. Yeah, that's one of the podcasts I listen to. Still subscribe to 100 though. So yeah, there we go. There's that. But yeah, Post Reports, The Daily, Up First, and What's News. They're all wonderful, good podcasts. I urge everybody to listen to them. I just listened to What's News maybe 30 minutes ago before I started the show. And I thought it was good. It's exactly what I wanted. It's just bite-sized news, and they have AM PM episodes. Isn't there a gas station called AM PM? AM PM. It's is that BP? Is that what BP renamed itself to? AM PM. That also sounds like some like type of ibuprofen Tylenol pill. AM PM. And it keeps you up in the AM, but it also puts you to sleep in the PM. Which pill's which? And there is a green pill and an orange pill. And either one could do either one. It's such a stupid idea. I'm going to bookmark it. I'm going to patent it. I still haven't seen Booksmart. I wanted to see Booksmart this past weekend, but I did not get the chance to do that. It'd be great. And I'm not going to be able to see a movie in Vancouver, so I'll probably just have to wait till that comes out on streaming or DVD or something. Blu-ray, excuse me. I've been playing a lot of NBA 2K19. I know 2K20 is coming out, and I know we're not supposed to support microtransactions and stuff like that with 2K and EA and all these other companies and Bungie. But this game was $3 during the E3 sale for all systems, but I bought it for Switch. I think I mentioned this. And it's a truth be told, it is a great Switch game. $3, and I paid for it with gold coins. It's a great Switch game, and I can just pick up my Switch. And I'm taking my Switch on a trip, so I cannot wait to fly on this plane and play the Switch. I saw the movies that they're offering for the Delta flight. It's a 5-hour flight. I saw the movies that they're offering. How to Train Your Dragon 3 is on it. I'm excited. How to Train Your Dragon 3, there's Captain Marvel and a bunch of other ones, but I want to see How to Train Your Dragon 3. So excited. And there's another movie that I wanted to see that I had not had a chance to. I'm very excited to get on that plane. It's going to be fun. I'm going to have a good time. I've got the Osmo Mobile all charged up. I got my battery pack, my extra battery pack all charged up. The Switch is all charged up. And that's all I'm taking. Maybe I'll take a book or something. Some of these snacks sitting over here. Yeah. I'll do that. But I'll be excited. So I've already shot the last 2 episodes of news. Well, this week's episode and next week's episode. I did that way ahead of schedule. I wrote both Wednesday and Thursday, my birthday, and Thursday. Friday. I wrote one on Friday. So I wrote one Thursday and Friday. Shot them both on Saturday. They're great. They sound decent because I've been messing around with some editing, some sound editing videos. And yeah, the video, I'm shooting it with this DSLR that's in front of me, and obviously they don't look that good, but whatever, it's fine. But the reducing is great because I reduced it. So yeah, it's this week's episode. They're both about YouTube. It's a 2-parter. This week's episode is about multi-channel networks, like Defy Media, Maker Studios, and its subsidiary Polaris, and how they were titans of YouTube for several years, and then they came crashing down because they were not able to pay out ad revenue to the thousands upon thousands. A couple of them had, and they Defy and Maker and Polaris aren't the only ones. There are several other multi-channel networks. A multi-channel network is a company that will, like an agency. They'll sign, like CAA or United Artists. They'll sign. I'm getting all choked up again. They'll sign a YouTube channel like the Game Theorists or I don't know, Game Grumps. They'll sign them to contracts, like a couple-year contracts, and they'll handle the ad revenue. They'll handle getting advertisers. They'll handle all that stuff, and then you'll get paid, but you have to give them a chunk of your check. And then there are 2 versions of that. They can either own the name and then own everything you post on the channel. They can produce the shows and own all the rights and all that stuff, or you can own all that stuff. So if you ever close down a channel, then and they own the stuff, then they can just keep it going with somebody else. So, or not if they don't want to, or if you own that stuff and you want to take it elsewhere, then you can. So there's that. There's multi-channel networks for that. And that's how that goes. And they fell. A lot of them fell, and I don't know if any of them are still standing, but a lot of them fell. And Disney bought two of them, Maker and Polaris, and turned them into Disney Digital Network, and that's not doing too hot. So yeah. Anyway, that's the entire episode. But watch it. Watch News Time. It's great. And then next week's episode is about VidCon, because VidCon's turning 10 on next Wednesday. So I did an episode about that, and it actually turned out pretty well. Turned out pretty good. All right, so there we go. That's next week, though. So watch this week's. Tell your friends. Tell your friends about the show. Tell your friends about News Time. It's great. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head on over to the website, cpluscomedy.com. Follow us on Twitter at cpluscomedy and Instagram at cpluscomedy. Follow me on Twitter at Chad Black White and on Instagram at Chad Black White. To watch a video version of the show, head on over to youtube.com/cpluscomedy. The video version, you can see my room in all its glory. You can see me dressed up to the nines, to the sixes. This is not my best outfit. You can also, and that's where you can watch News Time as well. 200 and something episodes are coming up. The birthday's coming up in a couple of weeks, August 10th, I believe, or 9th, one of those days. I forgot. It's in my calendar. So I got to figure out a birthday episode to do for that. And yeah, thank you for listening. I appreciate it. You have yourself a nice day, and I'm going to go eat some poutine.